Okay, so let's start the meeting. Welcome to the Combustion Institute Town Hall meeting, the symposium series entitled Submitting to the 41st International Symposium on Combustion and Using Microsoft CMT. And I am a moderator of today's meeting, Osamu Fujita from Hokkaido University. Today's meeting contents is at first the introduction on this meeting by Professor Hai Wang, and the second part is the quick review on the two-step process. This is a new process of the Kyoto International Symposium, and third part is the review on the submission process using the Microsoft CMT by SCI staff, Gabriella Gray. Okay, so let's start with the introductions by Professor Hai Wang, the president of Combustion Institute, please.
Thank you, Osamu. I just want to say a couple words before I give him back the moderator back to you. So, well, I know that for many of you, this time for the CI Town Hall is not quite convenient. It's either very early or very late in the evening. For those who have joined us, thank you for taking the interest. As many of you know, this is the second CI Town Hall meeting. The first series of Town Hall meeting was held in June. And what we intend to do from the office and to myself and the executive committee is to use more of the CI Town Hall meetings to reach out to our members. And this is one of this Town Hall meeting. Back in June, Venkat and Osamu presented ideas behind this, the next Kyoto International Symposium on Combustion. The question was more about why and what. Today, we hope to address any questions you have about how, and many of you have received the email. The submission site is open, I believe, as of yesterday. And so I invite everyone to visit the website. Obviously, you can still submit your paper later. And this web page is something that we hope to rely on in future symposia. So for that, I wish to thank our program co-chairs, Venkat and Osamu, for working so hard at making it work. And making it ready for well ahead of time, as a matter of fact. I wish to also thank our Combustion Institute office and Gabby in particular for leading many of this effort, implementing the CMT functionality and making this to work. So this is all what I have, and I'll hand the mic back to Osamu.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the we move on the next item. And next one is the review on the two-step process, and also the about the submission template. So the Venkat.
Yes, thank you, Osamu. I apologize for my voice. I seem to have lost some of it, but I'll try to power through this. So as Hai pointed out, we have a change in the submission policy for the symposium. So now instead of having papers being submitted in November, the full paper, and then fully processed through for the symposium, we have a two-step procedure. And in the first step, we are going to have a 4-page paper that authors will submit. And I want to be very clear that this is a paper and not an abstract. So we expect that you would all submit complete results that would go into a final paper form later on. So there's a format for this submission, which is available on the Combustion Institute website, the Combustion Symposium website, and Gabby is going to point you to the right websites and formats later on. So authors submit this 4-page paper. And there is a particular format for this. Even though I say it's 4 page is restricted to the content. There'll be an extra page for references, and there'll be a page that at the start, a cover page that includes some more information like novelty and significance. And I will come to that shortly. Now, once you submit this 4 page paper, it will undergo a technical compliance check, which the CI office will conduct. And then it will be passed over to the colloquium review team, which Osamu and I head. And this colloquium review team is now made up of lead colloquium chairs who have with them colloquium co-chairs who will together evaluate all of these papers. There are no revisions allowed during the evaluation phase. So once the submission is processed on November 12th, after that, there are no changes to the paper allowed. And we will make a decision about whether these papers are accepted for the symposium around February 1. And if your paper is accepted, then you're invited to submit a full-length paper, and the details of that will be provided later to submit to the proceedings of the Combustion Institute for publication. There is a particular deadline for submission of the full-length paper, which is not the focus here. So I do not want to create any confusion with deadlines. So I'm going to focus only on the symposium submission right now, and we'll provide more details on the full-length paper at a later time. Gabby, if you go to the next slide. So I want to now go through the individual steps once submission happens. The first, of course, is to make sure that all the submitted papers follow a particular standard for formatting and quality. And so these are some of the requirements that your papers have to follow the templates that are provided. The files have to be in PDF format and cannot exceed 10 megabytes. All the figures in the papers should be legible and properly formatted. In some sense, we expect these PDFs to be camera ready when submitted. And of course, you have to follow the page limits as it's given in the template, and no extensions beyond that limit is allowed. So if your paper exceeds the 4-page limit, it will be reviewed. It will be written without any evaluation. So if you follow all of these checks, for all of these formatting requirements, you will pass the technical check. The deadline for submission is 12th November at about midnight Pacific Standard Time. So it's 12th November, so keep that in mind, and please put it in your calendars. Now, the Microsoft CMT can handle a large volume of papers being submitted, but just to be on the safe side, I would suggest to authors to submit these papers a little ahead of time and not wait until the last hour to get onto this time. We don't expect any extensions to be provided, so all submissions will close at this stipulated time. Next slide, Karen. Now, once the it's just one thing that has been skipped here, I think, right? Is there one before this? One slide before this? Okay, all right. In my slide deck is a little different. Sorry, I'll go with this one. When the papers are submitted, there is a first step we are going to go through, which is the desk rejection process. And because there are a lot of papers submitted, we expect that from previous symposia, that some papers may not be exactly tuned to the symposium. And so we want to go through and make sure that all the submitted topics and the papers are relevant to the focus of the symposia. So as a result, both Osamu and I, along with the CI office, will first go through a first cut decision making, essentially focusing on scope and relevance. Okay. And once we have made decisions on this initial cut of papers, we will send automatically a desk reject decision if the papers don't comply with the scope and relevance. And those decisions will be sent by 1st November. So this is the information that's not on this slide. So I want to go to what Gabby has on the what she's showing right now, which is the evaluation process past the desk rejection. In this evaluation process, once after December 1, each paper will be assigned to 2 colloquium team members. So the based on your choice for the colloquia that you have on your templates, you will be assigned to one particular colloquium, and then the LCC, the lead colloquium chair, is going to assign each paper to 2 colloquium co-chairs for evaluation. Most or in almost all cases, we expect that these 2 colloquium co-chairs will be able to get to a decision. But sometimes, if additional evaluation is needed, then the lead colloquium coordinator will step in and provide additional comments on this. Based on these reviews and their decisions, we will come to an accept-reject decision for each paper by the 2nd of February. And we will send out a formal notice that the paper has been accepted or rejected. After that, we have to decide on whether it's accepted for an oral or poster session. And that decision will be sent on 16th February. We will use these 2 weeks to put together a compelling program based on the accepted papers, so there's some coordination between the different topics. Now, if you look at the templates, there'll be more information on how to specify which colloquia to submit to. Unlike previous symposia, this time we allow you to choose from multiple colloquia. You can list in order of preference multiple colloquium names, and then the LCCs along with the PCCs will sort through the papers and send it to the right colloquium. So once this evaluation process is done, like I said, the final presentation notice for whether it's an oral or a poster presentation will be sent on 16th February. I do want to point out, in this symposium, we do not make a distinction in terms of something is an oral presentation or a poster presentation. So your chances of getting accepted or rejected does not depend on the choice for presentation format. And we want to encourage submission to poster format also. So we have in the program that will be released later, you will see that there are dedicated sessions for poster presentation every single day with no parallel oral presentations at the time. So we want to give as much visibility as possible to posters. So we will leave it to the authors to decide what is the best choice to present their work, whether it's oral or in poster format. In few instances, depending on the availability of slots and so on, we expect that we will have to make a change from either oral to poster or poster to oral. But our intention is to minimize such changes if possible. From the last symposium, we feel that the authors are pretty good at making these choices themselves. So we want to honor as much as possible how you want to present your paper. Next slide, Gabby. Now, once the papers are accepted to the symposium, then you'll be sent an invitation to write a full-length paper that will go to the proceedings. So here, again, there's a distinction. The papers accepted for symposium will not appear in print, which means that each one of those papers will be made available to the attendees, but there will be no publication from the symposium directly. If you want your papers to be published in an archival journal, such as the proceedings, you have to go through the full review process. You're not required to submit a full-length paper in order to present at the symposium. So on February 1, if your paper gets accepted, you can stop your process there, and then you can choose to submit your full-length paper to some other journal if you think that is more appropriate. But if you do want to submit to the proceedings, you can take the 4-page paper that was accepted and then expand it up to 8 pages and submit it for a full review process. And we will have deadlines for this. We will tell you exactly how to submit it. And that submission will happen through the Elsevier website and not through our CMT website. And of course, during this time between the 4-page and the 8-page, when the decisions for the 4-page come, Sometimes the colloquium team members would have provided certain reviews to help you revise the paper for full submission. So we expect that you will take those into consideration because some of those colloquium team members could also be the future reviewers for this paper. And all the papers accepted for publication will appear in the Proceedings Volume 42 in 2026. Our hope is to have as many papers online before the symposium starts in July. So this is our goal. Now, if you, next slide again. If you want to submit a paper, we want to make sure that you submit it in the right format. This is very critical because we want to ensure that there's uniformity in the submission. It's easy for the colloquium team members to go through and make a decision. And so I want to repeat that it should be in PDF format, no larger than 10 megabytes. So you have to make the figures, for instance, a little smaller in size, not in the physical size, but in terms of the storage size. It should be in a 2-column format. So both the Word and LaTeX template provided to you allow this. It should follow a strict page limit. So if you go to the website, you will find that there are sample papers we have uploaded, which sort of provide how these 4-page papers should look. I know some of you have already started writing this. I've gotten emails about content and so on. And in my own group, we are starting to write papers for submission. And what we quickly realize is that the conventional way of writing it with an introduction, methodology and so on, you may not have as much space to fully capture what you want to say in the length limitation that we have. So we want you to think differently and to ensure that you present the key idea in the paper that's easy for the colloquium team members to read through and understand. So this is very critical. So the clarity of presentation is important in these papers, more than following the format of certain subsections or sections and so on. So I want you to keep this in mind. So for instance, in the 4-page paper, your introduction could be relatively short, to the point that you only need to provide context for what you're doing, and we don't expect like a very long introduction. Same way, depending on the focus of the paper, if it's experimental paper or simulation papers, you might want to figure out where you want to spend the space. Should it be in explaining the experiments, if that's the new technique that you want to present, or in the results from the experiments, if that's your focus. So you have to make some clear choices on how to present the information concisely. And so this will take some effort, and I hope that it helps you think about your work carefully and be able to help us decide what are the most relevant papers we need to showcase at the symposium. There's a QR code here that you can scan to figure out the submission templates and guides. Of course, if you go to the Combustion Symposium website, you can directly find it. Next slide again. So in the new format, there is no rebuttal. Once you submit the 4-page paper, it will be evaluated by the team members for novelty, significance, and a few criterion that we list on the symposium website. And based on that, we will rank the papers, and the ones that are above the critical cutoff will be accepted for the symposium. There is no rebuttal process here. If the papers are rejected, the process stops there. If the papers are accepted, then you have an opportunity to submit the full-length paper for which you can consider any comments that the review team provides. But the authors themselves will not be able to resubmit an updated 4-page paper for reevaluation purpose or even for the symposium itself. So at this point, once you submit in November, it should be in relatively final state. There's no update afterwards. Okay, so I want to stop here with the information about submission, and I'm going to hand it back to Osamu for the next steps.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll take the questions after finishing all of the items of today's meeting. And let me go to the next item, the use of CMT for the paper submission. So by the CI staff, Gabby.
Hello, everyone. You got to make sure that you have a Microsoft CMT account to be able to submit to the 41st Symposium. You can find links on how to do this on the Symposium website. We are going to watch a short video in a second here that shows you an instructional video on locating the submission portal and submitting your work to the symposium. Let me know if you can hear it. The first 10 seconds there is no audio. Sorry, I lost my mouse here.
After logging in, you will see the conference list menu. This is where you can find the listing for the symposium among the list of other active CMT conferences. To do this, click the All Conferences button in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Then, to find the 41st Symposium, you can narrow down the list by typing the beginning of the symposium's name in the search bar. The portal you are looking for is titled 41st International Symposium on Combustion Submission Portal. Clicking on this entry will lead you to the author console for the symposium, where you will be able to submit your research. After you successfully access the 41st International Symposium on Combustion's author console, you can begin a submission by clicking the Create New Submission button located in the top left of the console. This action will prompt a drop-down menu to open. This menu contains all the possible colloquia you can submit your research under. Select your preferred colloquium and the page will automatically direct you to the Create New Submission screen. On this page, you'll provide your submission's title and authors, as well as indicate the primary contact for the submission. Then you'll be able to upload your manuscript under Files. Please ensure that your submission is in PDF form and does not exceed 10 megabytes in size, as this is the only acceptable format. After uploading your file, you can proceed to provide all other required information, including keywords, secondary and tertiary colloquium choices, and further author information. After you complete all the mandatory fields denoted by a red asterisk, click Submit to move to the next step. Upon clicking Submit, you'll be directed to the Conflicts of Interest page. To add conflicts, click the Edit drop-down menu on the right-hand side. While several potential conflicts may be listed, only mark individuals who meet both of the following criteria. They must be part of the colloquium team and a co-author on your submission. Once you confirm any conflicts of interest or lack thereof, you'll be shown a screen that aggregates all the information you provided about your submission. Review it for accuracy, and if needed, alter your submission by clicking the Edit Submission button at the bottom of the screen. Once all the information appears accurate, click back to Author Console. This will officially complete your submission. You will receive a confirmation email containing your submission details, and a new entry will appear in the previously empty Author Console to reflect your submission.
Okay, again, you can find that video and instructional documents on the Symposium website. Feel free to review them and look at them whenever you're submitting. So important dates to keep in mind, the submission portal will close at 23:59 Pacific Standard Time on 12 November 2025. Again, no extensions will be granted, so please give yourself at least 30 minutes to complete and submit your work before the deadline. Once the submission portal closes, all submissions will undergo a technical check process conducted by the Combustion Institute staff to ensure that your submission complies with symposium formatting and submission guidelines. If your submission passes the technical check process, it will be reviewed by colloquium team members as part of the desk rejection process. This step ensures that your submission meets the scientific scope and quality standards for the symposium. If your submission passes both the technical check and desk rejection stages, you will proceed to the formal evaluation process. All authors will be notified of their acceptance or rejection to present at the symposium on 2 February 2026. Following this, there is a 2-week period where the program co-chairs will determine the most suitable presentation format, either oral or poster presentation, and all authors will be notified of this decision on 16 February 2025. I want to thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to receiving your submission to the 41st International Symposium on Combustion. As always, if you have any questions or need assistance during the submission process, feel free to reach out to us at office@combustioninstitute.org. And now I'm going to pass it back to Osamu.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let me make sure that today's meeting record will be available on the CI website, right? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now we move on to the Q&A question and answer section. So how I can take the questions? Maybe the participants can raise your hand. Okay, let me see. Okay, so the Saha, please go ahead.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
please. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I have a question about the the submission to the journal version, right? Either proceedings or so. Let's say I plan to submit an app like a paper for symposium presentation, but I don't intend to submit it to the proceedings, irrespective of the outcome from the first review for the symposium presentation. When can I submit it to the other journal? So in other words, let's say, by 12th November, I'm submitting it to the symposium presentation. I know, irrespective of the decision, I'm not going to submit it to proceedings. Then when can I submit it to the other journal?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Sorry. So our requirement is that any paper you submit to the symposium has not been submitted for review anywhere else before. So if you plan to submit your paper for the symposium on November 10th, let's say, after you submit that, you are free to submit it to any other journal. You don't have to wait for our review process.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. So the Evan. Okay. So yes. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got it. All right. So the Busari, please go ahead.
Yeah, please, can you show us where the template is? I tried looking for it, but I have hard time getting the template for the conference. Thank you.
Gabby, do you have access to the website?
Yes, I do. Could you give me 1 second to find it?
Sure. I can share it also if you're.
If you're on the symposium website and you go to the Information for Authors tab, you go to Submission Format dropdown, and it will bring you right to this page where you can find the Word template, the LaTeX template, manuscript formatting guide, and some sample papers.
While we're at it, one of the things that we like to bring your attention to is the 3 sample papers, as you can see listed at the very bottom. Those papers were extracted from outstanding paper from the list of outstanding papers from last maybe 2 meetings ago. So you can take a look, compare between this abbreviated version of a 4-page versus the original proceed paper. that can give you some guidance as to what you might want to include in this 4-page format. So I encourage all of us to compare this abbreviated version, so-called sample paper 1, 2, 3, against the original proceed publication at 8 pages. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next question by Evangelos.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. So I would like to ask you, so in case we submit the 4-page paper and for some reason you reject it, can we submit the same for work in progress, which is the deadline later in March?
Yeah, there is no, there's nothing that prevents you from doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your help.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? If you have a question, raise your hand. No questions. All right. So next, okay, I got the question. The Qian Yan, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. I have a question, but I think the answer is no. But I just want to make sure that in the 4-page submission, is there an appendix allowed?
No, in the 4-page paper, no additional material is allowed. It should be all contained within those 4 pages.
Yeah. What about the 8-page full paper?
That will be like a typical journal publication. So supplementary material could be added. But if you add an appendix, that should be within the 8-page limit.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, Kaoru, you are on mute. Oh, okay, it works. Okay.
Okay, I have a question about the format of the 4-page paper. In those 3 samplers, main body is 4 pages, and then the reference is on the 5th page. So this is, you say that 4-page submission.
That is exactly right, Kauru. So the 4 pages refer to the content of the paper. The 5th page is reserved for references, and it's unnumbered. And the same way, the first page contains information like novelty and significance and so on. So they are the format. When we say 4-page, it refers to the 4 pages of content and not the references. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let me add also here, among the 3 sample papers that our program co-chairs put together, you'll find that one of them actually is shorter than 4 pages with content plus reference. It is 4-page. This was done by design because the language is up to 4 pages of text plus 1 page, up to 1 page of abstract. Correct me if I'm wrong, Venkat and Osamu. So in other words, a shorter version is acceptable, and authors will obviously decide how much they need to write to convince the colloquial coaches and coordinators that this is a worthy material for presentation. Over.
Right. I think, Hai, that's a good point. So 4 pages is also a recommendation as the maximum limit. If you're able to make your case in 3 pages, please do so. Regardless of whether you write 3 pages or 4 pages, references should appear in a separate page. So that is a formatting requirement in a separate unnumbered page, right, for the references alone. But Hai is right. You don't need to have a 4-page submission. You can also have a 3-page content along with references and so on. Yes.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, so next one is Abu Darasis.
Yes, Aziz. Thank
Yeah.
you. Just I have a question about the 4 pages. If I have, for example, more than an idea, like 3 ideas, for example, in the paper I want to convey, but I want to stress one key idea in the 4 pages and then expand in the 8 pages the other. Is this fine, or I have to address them equally?
I think, my suggestion would be to, because there's only 4 pages, would be to focus on the main idea, right? One idea per paper is maybe the easiest to write. If you write more than one idea, you have to be clear to the review team, the evaluation team, what is the main focus here? And so that's up to you to decide how to present it. But the suggestion would be to make a clear case for the novelty and significance of what you're saying.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't see no other questions. And okay, I got one more question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
just checked out the sample papers. All 3 sample papers, they got a reference at the 5th page. So, which means the reference part is not included in the 4-page limitation, right?
That is correct. So the contents of the paper has to be for 4 pages. The references are not included in this 4-page limit. They are a separate page. And the reference page is unnumbered.
Yes, and all 3 sample papers, they got an extra page for like abstract, and we should put abstract by ourselves, or this abstract is generated by the CMT system.
That file, entire file is the PDF that you will submit. So it has to be submitted together.
So
The file will have
yeah.
6 pages, including the first page, which contains the novelty, significance, those statements. A second page that contains the abstract as well as the paper start, so 4 pages of that. And the 5th or the last page, the 6th page would be the references that's unnumbered. So together you have 6 pages of files.
Yeah, the question is, the first page contains like the novelty statement, significance statement. We make it ourselves, or this will be generated when we submit to CMT system.
It has to be made using the template.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So if you find further questions, you can address the question to the CI office. The email address is available at the last page of today's presentation material. And today's meeting record will be available on the website of CI website. All right. So I think it's a good time to close today's town hall meeting, and thank you for joining. And I hope we have many good papers, and thank you for joining the meeting today. All right, so that's all for today's meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Osamu. Thank you, Venkat. Thank you, Gaby.
Good night, guys.